Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Week 14 picks against the spread, game previews, Cust Corner, free money, aka, and, the Omaha Premium picks of the week. All coming up. You can hit the time codes, you can jump around, or be a real person and listen to the entire thing. That would help out a lot. Other things that help out, smashing the like button, subbing to the channel, rating and reviewing the audio podcast, all go tremendously long ways into helping this show get discovered, which is what we want. I think that's everything. Play in the Listeners League. That's down in the description right now. $15 to play, 3 max entry, no rake. Let's fill that up. Tambo will be back on the show on Friday, and if you don't watch the Friday show, you probably should, because I think Tambo's giving away $2,000. Pretty good incentive to watch that show. If you leave your rating and review right now and leave your Twitter handle in it, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, 5 stars, even if you've done it already, do it again, say something nice. Maybe you'll be in a draw to get your hands on some of that $2,000. Who knows what's going to happen? You're going to have to tune into that show to find out. You want the early link to the show? As always, it's in the newsletter that gets released on Tuesday evening. Sub to that for free. Big game this week, Jeff Feinberg. How you feeling?
Santa Tambo, giving out the freebies. I'm in a good place. I'm fine.
Really?
Don't skip ahead to anything, because I'll get spontaneously angry in this show because I have a lot to say. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I mean, I said the season was over in week 3. And unlike Tim, I don't just jump on and off when I realize my end game is dead. There's no lily dipping here. It's over and it's ending. And, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. That's it.
All right, well, let's get into it. Paul's behind the camera. The coin is here. And someone who was weirdly well measured after its Jets loss last week, it is Tim Undercust.
Tim Undercust.
That's not my name. Yeah, no, I wasn't feeling bad about it. But I just want to address a little something that was said there, because my name was, of course, drugged through the mud by Jeff for no reason. It was a drive-by smear.
What did I say?
Yeah, well, I'm not like Tim.
Exactly
I don't get
I said.
For years, I get told on this show by Jeff that he knows my team better than I do. But this year, I knew his team better than he knew his team from start to finish. I knew his team better. I knew his team was bad before the season began. I called for his coach to go weeks before he called for his coach to go. For a rare instance, I knew his team better than he knew his team this year.
In a macro sense, you are right. In the end, I'm just a moron. I'm a biased Charger fan, and I'll never do it again. I will not. I realize this year we are just cursed. We're cursed. But not cursed in this gross, annoying, I don't want to even take a shot, because they'd probably beat us today, Detroit Lion way. We're cursed with just this mediocrity and this bullshit. That's all. So you're right. In a macro view, I was an idiot. Because if anyone just said, nah, they're the Chargers, they're going to fuck up, they'll get hurt, they'll just screw up, that coach is a moron, I don't care what the team is on paper on August 31st, they're losers. You're right, but you don't know.
What are those win total bets?
You don't know.
10.5 or are they 9.5?
Listen, I hit a Viking win total on Sunday, and they cleared it, and I'm like, don't clear this. Don't clear this. I need everything good to go against the balance when I lose my Charger one.
I couldn't remember. Is that 9.5 or 10.5?
Shut up. It's dead.
Okay, but it isn't quite
Hold on,
dead
I'm
if
not
it's 9.5.
finished.
It is
You don't
dead
know
at
the
10.5.
team. I called that game on Sunday, literally, I called a perfect game. Perfect. What did I say? Corey Linsley doesn't play. The pressure's going to come from up the middle, and we're fucked. And then I said, we don't put any pressure on quarterbacks. I don't know how we're going to cover Devontae Adams. These aren't brainiac solutions, but if anyone playing the Chargers wanted to hire me for Oppo research in 5 minutes, I'd let them win 7 plays. You give me 5 minutes with your coaching staff, there's 150 plays in a game. I'll win you 7 plays in 5 minutes. I think that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. So I knew exactly what was gonna happen.
Well, if they don't rally and Staley ends up getting fired, I hear that IBM's Watson is on the short list for Chargers head coaches. How would you feel about that?
Who's that?
It's the computer who couldn't beat Ken Jennings at Jeopardy.
This coach, this guy is he's like an IT guy who can't turn on his computer. He's like a guy opening a pizzeria who thinks he's got these fancy flavors, but he can't even make a cheese. You know? Tim will understand what I mean here. He's this guy opening a bougie burger joint, with like egg on your burger. But
the worst.
But he can't even make like the cheeseburger plain taste good. I don't know about you, but I need to, if I'm going to try your fancy pizzas, I'm going to have to see how you do like a pepperoni first.
Preach.
You before I do, your like new age, whatever, you got to show me you can make like a beautiful cheese before I go to this other step. This guy from the defensive side of the ball, I am dead last in defense in everything. Okay? Just by associate, fired. Done. But he will not be fired. He will be given a free pass. And you know what? He's being given a free pass. He's being given a free pass. But I got swindled. Like Conan O'Brien or his character in the monorail. He came to town and he fucking swindled me. But that gremlin been working on his speech to swindle me since he was 5 years old.
So Staley is Lyle Landley. This is your argument.
And he's everybody. He's the guy who opens a pizzeria but can't even make a cheese.
Yeah, you just remember his coaching job from the Rams, but you don't remember his coaching job in North Haverbrook.
Or Ogdenville.
Hey, by gum, put them on the map.
His defensive our defense is so bad that I don't when Wade Phillips or Norv Turner get jobs as head coaches and they flame out, even Frank Wright, I'd still take him to be my offensive coordinator. I would still take that guy as a coordinator. I don't even know what the fuck you'd want this guy for. But he will save his job because he worked everybody, just like he worked me. I remember it like yesterday. Everything he did like Schefter's podcast, Rappaport's podcast. He'd come on Schefter's podcast as we can get in the job, and he would just tug Schefter off for 5 minutes about how great Schefter's book was. He has orchestrated his free pass for this goddamn moment. It's a free pass. And he's got his loser Joe Lombardi and some inexperienced defensive coordinator. He calls the defensive plays. You know that? And they're like, maybe you should give up that. But no. So I don't know. I'd hope he is going to save his job. I'd hope it is maybe they'll bring in a Vic Fangio and a Frank Wright or something, some real men potentially to help assist. But it's a dead fish, and it's going to be dead again. And that's what I have to say about the coaching situation. I got things to say about other people. The Titans fired their GM today.
Very cursed Titans.
Why isn't my GM fired?
The monies?
No.
The GM didn't give away a receiver of the quality of AJ Brown.
I love that. That owner's embarrassed to go to Christmas parties, to have to answer questions about freaking AJ Brown. And you know what he said? Before I got to go to those Christmas parties over the next month, I'm firing this guy because he embarrassed me. I love that. What, Amy Adams? Good for you, Amy.
What?
I don't understand, but Jeff's on a roll.
That trade's so embarrassing. So you're fired.
You're fired. You're fired. Lost a "you're fired" match. I think the headline.
Yeah, I got monorail coaching my team for another year.
I think headline says Jeff says soy boy should be fired.
Is that what he's writing down?
Listen,
during
I bought
every
into this
play,
guy,
Jeff,
but don't make it like I buy into everybody. 3 games into Anthony Lynn's tenure, I called him Octavia Spencer and wanted him fired. And we were in some little hut near Bloor Street, which if we were, I wish we were there today because there's a Chick-fil-A across the street, Pat. But
Tim, the latest headline from The Darnold on Reddit is just that Faker Mayfield is being exiled to Nebraska with the lib rule media and will never be welcomed back at Darno-Lago, who has apparently overcome critical gaze theory.
Amazing.
I have to start Sam Darnold in our league this week for me to get into
Good.
the playoffs.
He'll be
I need
fine.
you to lose, so
He'll
great.
be fine. He's not gonna be great, but I think he'll be fine.
Hopefully he scores more than like 0.1 that Lamar scored me last week. That would be fine. Let's recap last week. However, the three of us were all 7-8 on the week. So Jeff retains his lead, does not extend it. He's up by 5 games. The coin made a... What did I get wrong this time? How about you just count them before you come on and you tell me your record?
Well, I know what my record was.
What was your record then?
8-7.
8-7? All right, let me go back and look at this.
This has to be a bit. I'll take 7-8 though, just to not have to do this.
No. If you want to take 7-8, let's see here. Buffalo, Minnesota, Cleveland,
Is this like when Cam asked
Pittsburgh,
for extra points?
Green Bay,
No!
San Francisco.
For like a little bit of a better
Jeff wants
record?
free wins.
Little free wins.
I got you at 7, man. Buffalo, Minnesota, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, San Francisco, New Orleans.
Dallas,
7.
Philly.
You had Indianapolis, it says here.
Well, then I'm an idiot.
Not
I
for
was
three
right the
quarters of
last
that game.
2
You were.
times.
Not for-
I'm an idiot here then. Sure, if that's what the paper
Colts
says.
probably should have covered that game. That fourth quarter got wonky, but that game was 21.
You're going to say that like Atlanta should have covered versus the Saints 8 years ago.
sort of.
Yeah, they only gave up 33 points in a quarter.
Okay,
Should have covered that.
That's because Saturday kept going for it on fourth down like you're supposed to.
I promise I won't say anything. Like, I had a really smart roommate, and he'd tell me exactly what I owed him, and I'd like be like, "Are you sure?" And then it was just like, "Yeah, he's always right." So
But I know I hit my Omaha Steaks super lock.
Yes, I mean, it's not a super lock. It's an omahasteaks.com premium pick of the week. Tim was the only one to get it correct. I'm almost out of time to come back to even tie you. You have me in Dormy in the Omaha premium picks pick of the week, Tim. You're 10-3 on the year. Very good. I'm now 6-7 after losing, I think, 4 or 5 in a row. And Jeff also lost. No, wait.
No, I didn't.
Jeff won. Jeff had Pittsburgh, so he won.
Sorry. Thank you. I
So-
was like,
so he
wait,
re-
I was
he-
in some.
He remains a game back of Tim at 9-4. The teaser lost last week thanks to the Baltimore Raisins. Tim drops to 3-11 and 18-114 overall. Guess what I did, Jeff? And maybe I can do it for you as well if you're big into steaks or chicken. I went on to omahasteaks.com. Everything on the site right now is 50% off, which is huge savings from what I hear. And then code Mayo gets you another $30 off on top of the 50% off. I sent some steaks and chicken to Cam.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for you.
I feel like he'll appreciate that.
I'm a steak guy. Cam will always appreciate it, and he'll appreciate it more if it like arrives after like a bad NFL Sunday. Like that's when he's got to dig into the freezer. But great, yeah. Tim is crushing it. He's 10-3. I'm 9-4. Yeah, those are some like computer free gold picks. Shows you.
Yeah, no database over here.
Oh, you're so what you're saying is that you're a better better on the NFL than Gigabyte is?
I am
I'm
not.
no.
I am not saying that. There is no hostility coming from this show. None.
None whatsoever.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like it's NFL football. Bet it for fun. Bet within your means. You'll be okay.
You
Bet
don't.
against Tua when anybody's going to put pressure on him. You can't lose those games.
Not a bad idea, actually. Let's get to the Thursday night game first, though, because Vegas is still technically in the mix, just like the Chargers are. In the AFC, they're at the Rams. 6 is the spread in favor of the Raiders. 44 is the over-under right now. I went against the Rams for my Omaha Steaks premium pick of the week last week, Tim, and it did not go my way, although after watching the game, I'm still not quite sure how the Seahawks not only didn't cover, but they almost lost the game outright. Like, Walford was horrible. The defense didn't seem very good, yet they kept sticking around in the game. Cam Akers is back from the dead. He gets the Undertaker gif of the week. I don't know what to do here. I kind of want to take the Rams.
I can tell you that I would not lay 6 points with this Raiders team. You can't trust them. Yes, they play good football, but this is precisely the spot where you believe in them, you put them in a teaser or a parlay, and they just kill you. You can't do that. They no-show sometimes. I understand that. I'll take the Rams here.
I'm also going to take the Rams +6, Jeff, at home. I guess it's probably going to be a Raiders home game, but technically it's at SoFi.
The Raider home game element here cannot be understated. I mean, now there's life again in Raider Nation. It's not cheap to get into SoFi, and it probably won't be cheap this time because the Raider fans. But a couple weeks ago, you probably could have bought tickets for this game for as cheap as you could ever get into SoFi. It's going to be a total invasion. They've got good vibes again. The Rams are a total dead fish. I think they put on a show. I think they'll, score for like BCS computer points late. Give me the Raiders, I guess. I'll be the one again. I'll be alone there.
This strikes me a lot like last week's Seattle game, where you're going to watch the game and it will seem like the Raiders are dominating, and then you're going to look at the score. It's like, why are they only up by 3, or why are they down by 3? What is happening here? Because there's no one left on the Rams at this point, Tim.
I agree. And but I mean, Adams, you would think would be a problem, but the only player they have who's healthy is Ramsey. So maybe Ramsey can keep him somewhat in check. This is not a play on the Rams. I don't like the Rams. This game could be a rout. It's a play against the Raiders, and that they have not earned, and I've been picking the Raiders week in, week out, that they have not earned
You
the
fucking
trust.
cursed us because you got off the Raiders last week. And you get off the Raiders, and the spread flips 5 points in the direction that is like pro Raiders that would have made you look real smart. But you get off the Raiders, and then our injury report turns to shit.
Yes, that's all true. But I'm off the Raiders this week as well. I just don't think you can trust them. I don't think they should be laying 6 points in a short week. And I mean, they spent all their money going to SoFi the first time this year, so maybe they won't make a second trip.
Very humble G-Bus takes complete and total credit, Tim, for Sleepy Joe Burrow's accomplishments. All right, we're going to mix things up a little bit here on the show. Let's go to Sunday night. Ocho Bowl. We got Miami at the Los Angeles Chargers. Miami is favored by...
Darian zooming in?
We were thinking about getting you two for like 5 minutes on Sunday night. We'll see about that because Meany's going to be in the studio.
Biggest game in football history.
I think
the Ocho Bowl. It is, I guess, the Ocho Bowl. That's a good point. Listen, I sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I don't want to get yelled at. I don't know if you introduced the spread.
I did not. It's Miami by 3.5 on the road at SoFi. Over under 52 at the moment. So Tua's ankle is apparently going to be okay. So what you need to do, this is my theory behind it, because Tua, I still believe, is like 14-0 in games that he's started and finished over the last little bit. You got to find a way to get Tua out of the game. Then it's an insta-win for the Chargers.
Yeah, listen, this is being, I don't think, well, I guess maybe it is. It's being made into a lot. And whoever, I guess, wins this game will be forever the better quarterback. I mean, that's what just is going to happen when a 23-year-old and 24-year-old are playing. I'll take nothing away from Tua and what he's accomplished.
No, take it away. Take it away from him.
You were trying to take it away from him with Gabe on Sunday.
No, I
take
wasn't.
Him away now.
Gabe, listen, let me say, Gabe's looking for an apology. Like, that's insanity. That's insanity. Like, if anything, like, this started 1.5 years ago. I was in a hotel room. Pat clipped it. It was one of my better clips from last year. I said, like, it's got to change now. The guy's so far down in the hole, like, he's got to be supported and propped up. And this offseason, they supported him and propped up. And you just replay the tape from our preseason show. Where it's time to support him. They're supporting him as a coaching staff. They brought him playmakers. They signed some O-linemen. It's time to support the guy. Did I make low-hanging fruit jokes 2 years ago? Yeah, of course I did. But well, you gonna hold it against like the paid professionals who are unbiased or the biased Charger fan? Get like, what are we doing here? Their owner tried to get 3 other quarterbacks.
The media, Jeff, is too busy running weekly shows taking shots at Herbert.
You're just winding me up. But that's another thing. I think some of the slander towards Justin is totally unfair. I think
very unfair. The liberal media out to get Justin Herbert.
No, I don't know. I don't think, like, for starters, this social media quarterback thing. That's to say, like, yes, usually there are multiple throws that he makes that can go really viral and people like. But you can't amass the stats that he's amassed through 2.5 seasons in the league by making a viral throw a week or off 2 viral throws. Like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like, there are viral throws, but you can't amass the touchdowns and yards that he has amassed in his starting point in the league by just making a couple dozen great social media throws. So I don't even, like, just on its face, that seems so flawed. And I see now he's out again making flawed one-sided arguments on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, isn't it easy to put up these stats when you have a bad defense? Like, is Herbert a good stats
No,
bad
because
team
has
guy?
there been garbage time? Like, every game is close, Pat. There really hasn't. The game versus Jacksonville where they getting their ass kicked, that was the game he played where he should have been resting. There really hasn't been, like, this great amount of garbage time. I wish there was. We don't blow anyone out. Okay, and every game's been close. So I'll fight on this, like, mock of like garbage time statistics, like a true sense of garbage time statistics. We play way too many close games to be able to make that case. A couple other things, because now that you got me here. He's the only player in the top 5 in passing yards who doesn't have a receiver in the top, like, 38 in receiving yards.
It's a pretty wonky top 38.
Well, I was going to say, like, do you want me to say top 30?
Sure.
I could cut it off at 30.
That sounds cleaner.
Okay, fine. No, another thing. Last year, with the total points the Chargers gave up, the teams in the history of football that had also given up that many points or crossed that threshold won games at a 30% clip. The Chargers were a game over 500. We now have the 734th out of 734th ranked run defense since the year 2000 on designed runs. The other teams in that grouping, like ranked 500 and above there, have like a 38% win clip. So this argument that listen, I don't get, people need to walk the plank. The fact that we're going to go to year 3 and not play a playoff game, like, it kills me. It burns my soul. We have not won enough. But to frame him, you listen to some of the arguments and they say, he's like a 500 quarterback in his career, but they talk about him like he's got a 30% winning percentage. That's what it should be, God damn it.
So Tim,
I don't know, but as for this game, oh my God, we don't put any, without Joey, but we don't put any pressure on quarterbacks, and we are still. I don't know the status of my center, my right tackle, my left tackle. Like, I don't know a road where McDaniel isn't just like watching this film. If he wants to score in 15 plays in 8 minutes, he can. If he wants to score in 4 plays in 2 minutes, he can. So I don't know, like, what on earth we are supposed to do. Tim mocks the Bradley Chubb thing. Watch what's going to happen this week. Justin Herbert got pressured like 27 times Sunday. I think it was like a high water mark in the league this year. One of them. It was ridiculous. So we are dead. We're dead. And I like the notion that, and also listen, Herbert, Burrow, Tua, Hurts, Herbert could be the 4th best of all of them. Now, if they're all like top 8, top 10 quarterbacks in football, everyone's going to be happy. And I watched Eli win 2 Super Bowl rings when I believe I had a more talented quarterback. So it'll be easier to watch like Burrow win 2 Super Bowl rings because at least he's really talented. And Hurts probably like offensive player of the year. And Tua, it's amazing what can happen when you're supported and they put people around you. And if this is Herbert's like wall, if this is Herbert's wall, playing with what was a cartilage fracture, playing with no offensive line, his weapons in and out, we'll be fine. But they got to get someone in here that can nurture him. And not a guy like Justin Herbert's a goddamn miracle. Honestly, he's a goddamn miracle. I don't want to throw people I really know under the bus. But I know someone whose parents are in like ridiculous, like laughably insane. And this person ended up being one of the most smartest, brightest, hardworking, successful people I've ever met. And I tell this person, you are a goddamn miracle to be the person you are. You are. And when you've been taught football by Mario Cristobal and Anthony Lynn and this fucking gremlin, some people should consider him a goddamn miracle.
So you're taking the Dolphins?
Dolphins, my plus 3.5.
Minus 3.5.
Yeah, mark it. I don't know how we stop them. This is just unbiased football. You watch me watch a game now. I'm just emotionless. And we're coming off. We scored a defensive touchdown and we had a successful fake punt. We still fucking suck.
Tim, do you like the Chargers here?
No, I love Miami. Look, the battle plan is clear. When the Dolphins play against a team that can get any sort of pressure, Tua panics. He doesn't have time. He throws the ball away. He plays terribly. He played god awful. There is not a single word of positivity that can be said about this. He played
look at everyone else's stats versus the 49ers.
Horrifyingly badly against
well, too mean.
Yeah, and
his 76-yard touchdown was a 4-yard pass that got taken 70-some-odd yards.
That's their playbook.
He played horrifyingly. Now, he also plays great when he doesn't have pressure. The Chargers defense are going to bring no pressure. They're the worst defense imaginable. He should feast upon the Chargers. This is exactly the team that Miami should do well against. We'll see next Saturday night against Buffalo. I expect that they'll get nothing because Tua and the Dolphins offense struggle when Tua is pressured. He panics and makes bad decisions. But he won't have to panic on Sunday night. He'll have lots of times for decisions. They're the first part of a 14 money line parlay. The Dolphins, you put it in. Dolphins aren't losing this game.
This is the situation. We're like those 4 teams: the Bears, the Lions, all those teams that made Tua look like
the Texans
effective. But we will allow him to do that. But Tim, I think you're right. Just look at all the stats versus San Francisco this year. The turnovers, I don't know, maybe he was due for some of them and they helped create them, but I thought he was fine.
Played against Pittsburgh when Pittsburgh brought pressure and he played terribly. Played against San Francisco when they brought pressure, played terribly. He's bad against good defenses, but against bad defenses,
a lot of good quarterbacks.
A lot of middle-of-the-road quarterbacks, but against bad defenses like yours, he'll dine out, and he will.
I like the Chargers in this game. I think this game reeks of the old Feinberg. Chargers lose, but cover the spread. They lose by 3.
Okay, Pat, so we're going to be the Kirk Cousins here because this year's going to end. And I was thinking, does Herbert win in primetime? And thank God we won a few in primetime last year. But going back to, I guess, what would have been week 17 versus the Raiders or week 8, whatever the new week is, they lost that game. They lost, but this year they lost to the Chiefs twice and they lost to San Fran. But they've covered all of them as underdogs. But they lose the game. So they are very much, in a nutshell, at nighttime, we are the epitome of the Feinberg.
And you have a Rams game later on this year.
That's going to be flexed. Rams, Chargers. And you want to know something? I might be flying home that day. And I booked that flight, tell my wife, yeah, we're primetime, we're fine. And I said, don't worry. If the game's so bad it's flexed, I'll want to kill myself anyway. No, I don't think I would have said kill myself, but like, would it mean like the season is so dead, I don't even give a shit. Because like, you know how they love going to SoFi. They're going back there. There must be some good technology. NBC must like the stadium. It's local. It's probably really
as we found out, they wanted my game. My game got blocked, so they took your game because the idea of having Russell Wilson on
the
TV.
Dolphins, what the league has done to the Dolphins.
Oh yeah, what a hardship.
People whine and moan here. I have never seen anything like this in the league. The third leg of a 3-week road trip ends with a game moved up early. Tim, this year you complained when the Packers played in England and you had to play in you were at home or on the East Coast.
Yeah, they had a 5-hour rest advantage.
I also complained that they had four times this year they played a team on mini bye, and they're on their bye. The team they played on was also on bye. You don't even get
so really you just want to complain is what it sounds like.
Well, just like it's completely unfair, and there's literally no argument to the contrary.
The Bills on Sunday, after they play the Jets, they'll be home by 6:30. The Dolphins, by the time they fly home after Sunday Night Football, it'll be like 10 a.m. when they get to their actual homes Monday. And they move that game up to Saturday night. The margins in the NFL are so small. We see it week to week. As bettors, people call it, I love trying to identify spot games. I just try to do it maybe too hard and it can be costly. But spot games are, I believe those are real. And there's a horrible spot situation for Miami. Do not worry, Dolphin fans. As Tim noted, you'll slice and dice us up, no problem. You will. Do not worry. You have nothing to worry about a team that can't do anything on its offensive or defensive line.
If the Chargers,
not a single concern.
If the Chargers can just win one of their next 2 games, they're probably going to make the playoffs.
I don't believe in us. I want them to, but I don't believe. They've sucked it out of me, and unlike Tim, I'm not a lily dipper.
Well, it would be a great advantage if they did make the playoffs, because they'd probably be the 7th seed, which means they probably played the Chiefs, and we know the teams don't beat other teams 3 times in 1 year. It's an auto win for the Chargers.
No.
And then they get to go to Buffalo for the divisional game, and Jeff gets to cross the border and go to Buffalo for a divisional game.
No, I'm really proud of Tua, and I think a lot of football fans can allow themselves.
Well, then apologize to Gabe.
I think a lot of football fans can, like most normal football fans, can allow themselves to live in a world where their brain allows them to believe, oh, both these guys are good. Both these guys are good. And when the Dolphins beat the Chargers Sunday and Tua looks amazing, you watch out, Bengal fans. They'll be coming for Joe Burrow's throne next on the poll. But in closing, I would like to say, when you do win on Sunday, we're not really allowed to do this whole, oh, he wins the game, so he's better, because I would hate to ever have to be like, well, you lost to Mr. Irrelevant. No one is saying Brock Purdy is better than Tua. That's ridiculous.
I think it's possible.
Shut up.
I mean, the Dolphins losing to Brock Purdy is like the Maple Leafs losing to the Zamboni driver playing goalie.
You're being ridiculous.
I'm
the one that's got to apologize. You should apologize. Why does the biased Charger fan have to apologize?
You've been called to account to apologize, Jeff, so just do it.
It's also, because everyone had to get on with their Sunday. But it's this very straw man, let's pick on Herbert, when it's like, he's not a winner, he's not tough, this, that. And then it's like you defend him, and it's like, whoa, man, chill. All I said was he's not the best quarterback in football. What? No, that's not what you said. But I agree. He's not the best quarterback in football. No one is making the debate he's the best quarterback in football. What has clearly been realized this year is when everything's gone to shit, and even when he's hurt, Justin Herbert will be just fine. If the team is healthy and surrounded, Justin Herbert can be exceptional. That's what I feel like I've learned. When shit hits the fan, he'll still be okay. But now everything, like I would draft 7 offensive linemen next year. Because to me, as long as he's fine, we'll be fine. Well, that's not true because it's this run defense. You got it. I don't fucking know. I don't know. That's the thing. I got so many problems. I can't even concern myself with Tua anymore. I'm just happy for him. But you think I can concern myself with that when I have like fundamental, like just such a flawed situation? I can't. No, can't do it. And I would trade draft picks for a coach. And it's not Sean Payton. There's one coach I would. It's fucking Mike McDaniel.
So
also, Mike McDaniel going for that 4th and 1, that was the exact same thing Staley did versus the Raiders last year. Except he let his quarterback keep the ball, and the quarterback made the play. Staley let his running back take the ball, and we got stuffed. But I love it. I thought that was great. Mike McDaniel's the fucking man.
And they both lost those games. So.
To Brock Purdy.
To Brock
Who's
Purdy.
better than Tua.
Well, I mean, like head-to-head, he was better. But, I mean, like, we'll see.
It's such a stupid argument.
The takeaway that I'm getting from this is either A, Jeff says Blake Bortles 2.0 is very good, or Jeff says internet, social media, superstar quarterback out of league, now selling feet pics on OnlyFans. Those are the 2 headlines I grabbed from what you were saying.
You thought he's Blake Bortles?
It's just the way that he's putting up these numbers, not winning games, very Blake Bortles-esque.
That's not true.
Blake
Blake Bortles made the
Blake
playoffs.
Bortles had
They went
a
all the way to the
4.
title game with Blake Bortles.
What? No, I don't think Pat believes that. That's just Pat trying us. That's insanity.
Tim is right. Blake Bortles does have 2 playoff wins.
He does. He does. One of them I loved, and I wish he got that 3rd one. He should have. They got screwed in that game.
The referee stole a fumble from them. Because
No, because you watch Blake Bortles, and you know this guy is like problem. Justin Herbert has a flaw. It's a fair flaw. Too many balls get knocked down. He's too tall, and he's too... So we got to work on that. But your eyes told you something's like wrong with Blake Bortles, even as it was good. No.
Do you have you pulled a Tim? Do you have a saved draft of a tweet yelling at Acho once Herbert wins this game?
I write my tweets. The only tweets that are in my draft, there's a lot to be a dangerous game. It's either like golf cards that I like, outright cards that I'm still working on, or it's just something where it's like I actually took a second to breathe and be like, nope, do not send that. But I got nothing in the future. I got nothing. This is it's also, again, this guy is ridiculous. He's like a new Skip Bayless. Like, it's just so silly. Again, social media quarterback. Like, I've already said that you can't, a dozen amazing throws that go viral, there's those other stats have to come from somewhere.
Yeah,
the stats that put him among...
they're dump-offs to Austin Eckler.
This year, a lot of it is. But a couple games ago, Eckler had 2 catches. And we're not executing the screen game even good enough, to be perfectly honest. And Eckler should be lined up in the slot, and Kelly should be taking more hand. I would do a lot of things different. But I didn't go to college with the coach. I'm not one of his friends today.
Minnesota at Detroit. This line has moved the most of any so far this week since the openers. The Lions are now favored. Well, we got 1.5 on the board, so we'll go with that. In real time, Tim, it is now 2.5 for the Lions at home. 53.5 is the over-under. I've been mentioning this on a few shows. I've been mentioning this on a few shows this week. Is there any more delicate fan base than the Minnesota Vikings fan base? Good Lord. Your team's your team is 10-2. Enjoy it. That's amazing. Who cares what random idiots on the internet have to say and they don't believe on your team? Who cares? As long as they keep winning, that's good for you.
Right? They know because they know, as we all do, that this team is pretty darn fluky. They have won a ton of games this year where they were the worst team of the two and they won. Like, it is what it is. Everybody is aware that Minnesota is a 10-2 team that's really like a 5-5 team or whatever. But that being said, I don't trust Detroit enough to lay the points. So Minnesota is the second part of my money line parlay. I'm getting Minnesota plus money here at 10-2 at the at the Lions. Just like I can't trust the Chargers, you can't trust the Lions. And so we're going to take Minnesota here. Minnesota is a very intriguing team because they do things well. Their red zone defense is really solid.
Now, do you think
mistakes.
Hold on. Do you think their red zone defense is very solid because the Jets couldn't score on them in the red zone?
No, it wasn't just the Jets who've had trouble with them in the red zone.
Who else? What other teams did?
All kinds of teams have had trouble. Detroit had all kinds of opportunities.
Many teams. People say a lot of great teams have struggled in the red zone. The Teddy Bridgewater Dolphins?
Any number. Again, how many games have the Vikings won this year where the other team dominated in almost every statistical category? But, they're coached pretty well. They don't make big mistakes, and they take advantage of opportunities. And so that's good enough to win here. I felt pretty good about the way we played Minnesota in the second half. We dominated them in the second half. We shut them down. We made perfect adjustments. Just things didn't bounce our way. That's okay. These things happen. Move along, and I think Minnesota's probably going to beat Detroit. I don't think that's like a crazy idea. I think it's actually kind of weird. I'm getting the plus money to take Minnesota, and I want to do it.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, Jeff. The plus 1.5 or 2.5 now in real time to look at the Vikings. I think we all kind of concede that the Vikings are probably the better team here. Is this just setting us for a trap?
I knew when the Vikings pulled that one out on Sunday that the Chargers were doomed. And I say that only because every single smart guy in this space, all the sharps, 97% sharp money tickets of the sharps, had tickets that had the Jets and that had the Raiders. And they might have felt they were right about the Jets despite the red zone defense. I was one of those people on the other side being like, okay, I get it. The the Vikings are not as good as their record, but we have sort of crossed a point where now they're being egregiously disrespected. Mike White, a guy that was opening day third string against the Jets, against Minnesota in their own house, is like a neutral field pick'em. Bah, I wasn't having any of that. And I was on Minnesota against the Commanders, and I'm upset my book.
Another example of a team that had every opportunity in the red zone to capitalize.
I was upset that my book cashed my over 9 wins Minnesota ticket because I need all that money to offset my big Chargers futures loss that's going to cash when they're mathematically not possible. So I'm upset that cleared. I am, because I can't touch that. Not for me. That all being said, I'm just straight narrative street as someone with all their Viking futures, all that fun stuff. It's a Detroit game. This is a fight the Vikings don't want. It's just timed. It's a fight they don't want. They got bigger fights down the road. They're not really in positions with buys because they hold none of those tiebreakers. Detroit's angry. Detroit's a fireball right now. Let Detroit beat them up. Who gives a shit? Vikings got bigger fish to fry. Yeah. That's all. It's a weird analysis for me. This has nothing to do with people that are betting Detroit because it's like a hate bet against Minnesota. This is literally as stupid as seeing 11 straight coin flips have gone one way and one of these, Vikings are just going to sit this one out. They're going to lose by 10. Alt line Detroit.
I like Minnesota with you, Tim. I just think they're a better team.
Yeah, not a crazy amount better, but they are better. And you know, it's a road dome, and there's just every reason to pick them here.
I mean, the over is a pretty good look in this game at 53, I think. Just
You
Detroit.
just have a team that's really, really lucky, and a team that finds ways to be the least lucky and smart team in football. And like that's gonna somehow come to the boil in this game.
Not this one. Look for a Lions minus a touchdown.
See, you say that. Like, I mean, even last week, like this seems like such an overreaction to what we saw against Jacksonville, one of the noted worst road teams in football, that they were a 1-point favorite when we did the show last week against the Lions. It's like, yeah, take the Lions. Like the Lions should be getting points at home. But now, like, do we really think that Jacksonville and Minnesota are on the same plane? Yet all of a sudden, Detroit's favored by way more against Minnesota than they were against the Jags?
Yeah, that's it, right? The line is off. How can as bad as Jags are, and as much as the Vikings are not a 10-2 team in terms of skill level, come on now, like Jags are one of the worst teams. So
Okay, so I probably won't even bet Detroit minus these points. I will bet them only in an alt situation, but I hope you guys are right. Like, I'd love for Minnesota to keep their wagon, get that bye week. Since my team's not making the playoffs, I'm essentially a Vikings fan. No.
Well, I mean, you should be a Vikings fan for Tim, who said that they would have the best record in the NFC. I believe that's 15-1. That's still on the table here, Tim.
I need one loss from the Eagles, and then it's tied, and I can push it.
I'm done. The bozo combo of Dennis Allen, Mark Ingram, Andy Dalton ended me in our Hammer Back to the Future contest. Done. What morons. And a broadcast so moronic, they don't even mention the turning point.
If you want to watch Back to the Futures, the show that the three of us do together, it's on the Hammer HQ on the Forward Progress channel over there, or just go to thehammer.bet. You can subscribe down in the description, and that show usually comes out on Wednesday afternoon. Breaking news in real time right here. The San Francisco 49ers, Tim, will not get Faker Mayfield. He has been claimed by the Rams.
That doesn't make any sense.
Brock Purdy's better, though, probably, right?
Well, he's better than Tua.
The season is. Why would the Rams claim him and take that money on? Weird.
The money.
I just don't know what the value of it is. Well, all right, sure. That is strange. I didn't see that coming.
Horrible.
Yeah, but what do they care?
Did they think that they were like knifing the Niners by not letting them have a quarterback, but it turns out like it actually helped them?
Well, when the 49ers picked up Josh Johnson, I think that was a clear sign they weren't going to sign anybody else.
Well,
why do the 49ers need anybody if they have a quarterback who's better than Tua?
Well, I'm saying Purdy could be. Wouldn't it be great if Purdy like won a bunch of games? I'm supporting Purdy. I'm on his side. I don't know much about him, but
I like the 49ers. I'm on his side, but the notion that he's better than Tua is ridiculous.
I mean, they've each played one game in the NFL and happened to be against each other, and one looked a lot better than the other. So I'm only basing it off of evidence that I've seen, Jeffrey. And the evidence is pretty irrefutable.
Next game, Tim's team, the New York Jumbo Jets at the Buffalo Bills. Bills favored by 9, 43.5 is the total. We're getting the prime time treatment here, even though it's an early game. Tim, you got Nance, you got Romo, you got Magic Mike. Salah said he's going to continue to start. I didn't realize that was like up in the air for anything, but he had to come out and say that Mike White is still starting. I like the Jets +9 in this game. I think that their defense is good enough to keep this game close.
Yeah, I'm anxious about it. I think our defense, as we saw in their first matchup, is more than capable of keeping Buffalo's offense down. And, we won that game with very little offense. But I don't know. Buffalo's opportunistic. Novon Miller's nice. I continue to be terrified of our open field tackling. And Josh Allen is the one that scares me most. If he's running around, they're going to destroy us. In that sense, he's going to get so many third downs by running. If we can figure out a way, and Salah's pretty smart, to put a spy on him to prevent him from running around, then we got a real crack at this game. White has to play more or less like he played last week. The receivers have to hold on to the balls. Conklin had 3 terrible drops. Obviously Berrios had that big drop. Mims had a drop. Not to excuse anybody, but they had bad drops. So that can't happen again. That was a tough loss. We would probably be all but in the playoffs if we'd won that game, and we didn't. So now this is a really tough game. We have tough games in the schedule. We have Buffalo, we have Miami, we have Seattle.
The Bears.
We have tough games.
Oh no, you already played the Bears.
But we have Detroit, who, as Jeff said, is a house on fire, and then we have Jacksonville, who's apparently better than Minnesota. Because they were shorter favorites than the Vikings are this week in Detroit. I'm concerned. I'm still concerned. I don't know which way this is going to go. I'm not super confident, and I'm going to play Buffalo. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Buffalo wins at like 20-10.
Sorry, which way you lily dipping today?
I think just this is a tough game, and it's hard to beat a team twice. I think it's a low-scoring game. Buffalo wins 20-10, so Buffalo barely covers.
I'm talking more like for the season.
We have to get to 10 wins to make the playoffs. I think it's at best a coin flip that happens.
I'll take Buffalo. Just Bills at home. They'll find a way maybe to run it up here. You realize, I've also never seen anything like those Mike White T-shirts before. They
love him. They love him. He's a shot of energy.
Do they like him or do they hate Zach Wilson?
Yeah, that is literally them without trying to post a tweet or hit like on Twitter to people making fun of Zach. That is them as a collective saying we need to let the world know how much we hate Zach Wilson. Now you've seen players wear jerseys of a player. We've seen players wear T-shirts with other guys' faces. Maybe it's a star in the moment or great who's getting honored at halftime that night. I've never seen the Knicks didn't walk off the bus in Jeremy Lin shirts sort of thing. I've never seen anything sort of like that before. And
pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And look, it's a fun team. As I think Levitan noted today, they've got the guys probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year in Wilson and Defensive Player of the Year in
they're rookies.
Sauce.
They're not going to win Defensive or Offensive Players of the Year. Defensive Rookies of the Year.
Although Sauce has every bit the case for both, actually. But
does he?
Yeah,
what do you think his odds are to win Defensive Player of the Year?
I'm saying he has the case. I don't know what his odds. Probably fourth favorite, fifth favorite. I don't know what his odds.
Well, give me your case for him.
He has been the best defensive back in football, and he has taken on star player after star player and has done a very, very, very good job of it.
Well, he's not inside the top 15 of people on the board.
I find that impossible to believe.
I find it impossible.
If you did a draft of defensive players, he would be the third or fourth guy off the board.
Well, he's a rookie.
Certainly top 10.
Sure, you get his
just
rookie
for next
deal.
season.
I don't know.
Just for next season, he'd be one of the first 10 players off the board defensively.
I don't know about that. I think people would take Quinnen Williams over him.
Maybe.
Quinnen Williams is on this list, by the way.
Quinnen Williams is fantastic.
Better than Sauce. That's what the odds say.
I'm sorry, that's ludicrous.
I mean, all the guy does is pass interfere with people. Noted by you.
Not true.
That's what you said. And then we watched him do it. Then he started getting called for it.
It's just foolish. He's amazing. Him versus Hassan Reddick. Please, if you take Hassan Reddick over Sauce, turn in your football watching card.
I agree with Levitan. I agree with that. And I am looking forward to... I'll preview the springtime. The Jets might win 10 games. They might win 9 games and just miss it. They can win 10, get their asses beat on wild card weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That will not, even if they come up short with 9, Tim is going to be like a fucking pig in mud this spring, with his offensive rookie of the year, with his defensive rookie of the year, with what I assume they'll go out and get, league median quarterback situation. It's going to be yeah, it's going to be supercharged.
It's going
No
to be
pun intended, because with the supercharged, because I'll be quiet as a church mouse. There's nothing they could do to get me. They could bring back Junior Seau from the dead, and I don't know that it would excite me. Oh, they could make Philip Rivers the head coach. I could get excited. But this spring, summer, Tim is going to be an absolute firecracker. And that roster, it's worth being thrilled about. And if they win 9 and come up short, or get 10 and lose wild card weekend,
they better max us out. They better max us out in primetime games, or I will lose my mind.
Oh, you're getting at least 3 next year, I think.
I would hope so.
What does max out count as, though?
Like 5.
No, I have no idea.
Well, you get a Bills
They
game.
put Denver on that many times.
You'll get a Bills
You and
game.
the
You'll get a
Giants
Tua's
are going to
game.
fill that primetime schedule pretty good, though. Anytime the Giants or the Jets are facing a good West Coast team, that's primetime. They love that shit. They love that.
Next year might be NFC East too, so might be Jets
Oh,
Cowboys.
if the NFC and AFC East are playing each other, that's just primetime in a nutshell. All those Giant games.
Put us on Thanksgiving. Oh boy, Jets Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I want that so badly.
So, this is what I want to ask you. So the Dolphins, they get back-to-back flexes. The world, the networks, the football fans. Let's get excited. We like this. I'm smiling because I believe it to be true. Well, the Jets and their great story and their
We got blocked.
rookie of
That's
the
why
years
we got blocked.
on both sides of the ball. And they
wanted
can't
us.
get the Dolphin shine.
They wanted us for this week, and CBS blocked us. So that's why they took the Chargers and Dolphins. That's
The
okay.
Dolphins' success just overshadows you. Doesn't that bother you?
It does until it does right now. They've got a better record right now. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me worked up, but we already crushed the Dolphins once. I look forward to crushing them again, because our team is like the picture perfect. You make in a laboratory team to crush the Miami Dolphins. I can't wait for Week 18. I hope Miami has lots on the line. We're going to destroy them. Talk about casket matches.
Well, that's yours, eh? Taker versus Wembley.
Oh yeah. I can't wait for Week 18. Miami has no chance.
Are you calling it now a casket? You're gonna casket Tua?
Oh well, not actually, but they're going to destroy that. Like he's going to look like he looked against San Francisco, which is to say, pitiful. They got no chance.
But if he scores like 20 points, he could probably beat you guys.
Well, not last week. Not with Mike White. I am prepared to look the other way on the biggest contract extension of Mike White you can imagine. I won't praise it, but I won't criticize it. I'm prepared for them to franchise him. I'm prepared for any number of things to look the other way on with Mike White. You've no idea how much I will put up with.
I'm actually really curious about that whole contract thing, because now these quarterbacks after year 3 are asking for money. So I'm curious, do Burrow, Tua, and Herbert get paid this offseason? Jalen Hurts, who is a second-round pick, is he he's not a free agent, but is his contract he's for sure gets paid this offseason?
Yeah, because he doesn't have the extra year that the first round pick gets, so they would probably be wise to lock him.
If I were Herbert, I would say you give me every possible dime, or I don't take a snap, a la Kyler Murray. If I were Herbert, I'd extort.
Why
that Charger
Herbert?
team
Why not Tua or Burrow? Tua's the one that's been sickly.
Because the Chargers haven't dealt with me very well.
That's
I have
fair.
had
Listen,
injuries.
you should be allowed to pick the coach.
Their coaches are terrible. I would say to the Chargers, I want to be paid the most of any quarterback in the NFL. Otherwise, I played with broken ribs last year. I'm not taking a snap for you unless you pay me everything and more. Good day to you.
That would be my greatest fear, and I don't know whether you're just trying to fear monger.
No, if I were that's what I would do.
But it's a long road, because he'd only be in year 3. We'd have him under contract essentially with the option through year 5, and then we'd own a franchise tag for 2 years. So it would be very early in the process for him or any quarterback to play that game.
I'd say with this medical staff and the way I get injured, I want my money and I want it now. If I'm going to be sticking around here and playing every single game,
does Tua say, now pay me? I played one healthy year.
I don't know. I don't know that Miami will, if push comes to shove. I think they'll say via con Dios. If push came to shove, I don't think they would.
I
in a
can
way that,
see
like, if I
Burrow
were,
looking for the money this year, though.
and he would deserve it too.
Yeah,
But if
I agree. But I could see
I were
him-
Herbert or Burrow, I'd say, look, if I'm going to play my whole career or the part that counts in this city with this fan base, you are going to pay me every possible dime that I am due. And if you won't, I won't play.
Yeah, I don't doubt. I don't. Yeah, you got to pay him.
Kyler Murray did it. Worked for him. It was smart for him because Kyler Murrey's terrible.
It's true. Had Kyler
they're gonna pay
Murray
him
not
forever.
strong-armed them and gone this season and played like he played, he'd be fucking, I don't want to say screwed, but it wouldn't look like it looks.
I think the NFL got you a Christmas gift. I know why Baker Mayfield went to the Rams, Tim.
Why?
Because you get to have Faker Mayfield versus Mr. Unlimited on Christmas Day.
Can you imagine?
I don't need to imagine. It's happening.
Yet it'll still outdraw Celtics Knicks or whatever game is on.
Probably. All right, we got to start flying
love
through.
that.
We got to start flying through some of these games here. Cleveland at Cincinnati. Watson, very good at targeting the ground last week. A lot of bounce passes. It's like he did all for the 2 years he was off. He just studied Matt Castle game film. The Bengals are favored by 6 at home. Give me the Browns because just like how Joe Burrow always beats the Chiefs, he always loses to the Browns. I'm just going to go with that narrative. Take the Browns plus 6, Jeff.
I'm with you on that. I'll take those points. This game did a huge sort of jump after he looked bad, and they beat the Chiefs. And you say Matt Castle, I say look more like Chris Paul, Steve Nash, and bounce passes in there. What a disgusting performance. But I'll go to the Browns.
I'll go the other way. Give me the Bengals.
You'll take the Bengals. If Cleveland Cleveland's not technically out of it, but they're out of it. If they were in the mix, like if they had the Chargers record and they were 6-6, and you get that win with Watson, you see how Watson looks. Would you go back to Brissett?
Probably.
Okay.
They don't need to, so it's not a thing. They can just play Watson and go through it. But if you were in the mix and he looked that bad, I feel like they would have made the switch at halftime.
What would the spread, like last week's spread was 7.5, 8. If Brissett played, what would the spread have been?
Probably 6.5. Like they gave Watson more points for Cleveland.
Yeah. 6.5, 6.
And this week, if it was Brissett, in your opinion, what would this spread be?
Probably the
7.
same. It'd be within a
No,
point.
7.
It'd be 6.5, 7.
I'm still taking the Browns. I don't love it. The Bengals are on full throttle mode. No one should want to play them in the playoffs.
I mean, I would just prefer
Again.
not to play anyone in the playoffs if I didn't have to. If I could be in the playoffs, never have to play anyone, that seems ideal. Like, would you
I
want
like that. That's why
Walkovers. Tennis
I like
style
the
walkovers.
BS computer because it just said, here's 1, here's 2. Now go play for the title.
Philly and the Giants. The Giants are 7-point dogs at home in division to the Eagles, who are so good they're getting GMs fired on the other side of the field, is how much they're steamrolling everyone. They're still only 7-5 against the spread, though. Feels like a game they should really dominate because now that their run defense has, at least it looked like against Derrick Henry, was fixed, what the hell are the Giants going to do? I do an odds checker show, Jeff, with Brian Matthews, and he referred to Daniel Jones as Vanilla Vic, and that just absolutely cracked me up. But I'm going to take Danny Jones here, Vanilla Vic, and the +7 in just divisional game, home, 7 points. Giants, huge fans of mucking it up. They just covered against Washington. They just covered against Dallas. Why not pull an old Feinberg, cover, but lose to the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, the spread's a little high to be in that classification. I'm going to take this the other way. Eagles, like 35-14, 35-20 for me. I always feel like in football, you never want to be that team that starts 7-0 or 8-0, that people didn't know if you were good or were uncertain you were good. I feel like so many more times than not, the end result is not like as bad as what like recent Arizona Cardinals teams have done, like not even make the playoffs and kind of bow out. I am so impressed with this Eagles team. I thought last week, like I know they're better than the Titans, but sometimes styles make fights and they can just change their style. Like they're so good. That plant, that tree or that flower, it's blooming. I'm jealous. Eagles, kill him. Kill him.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Giants coming off a full overtime performance.
Well,
And Philadelphia won at a laugh.
I don't know if that was a full overtime performance. They played overtime. They didn't really do much.
The clock
Yeah.
moved.
I think they played the best that they could. This is sort of a look-ahead game. They don't need this game. Next week's the game they need.
I mean,
I'll take Philadelphia.
Not gonna lie, they could use this game.
Yeah, but we all know they know too if they're serious.
Is the Dolphins
This is a
game
tough
a
game.
look-ahead game? Or is the Jets game a look-ahead game for the
Both.
Bills?
Both.
It's
Jackson,
probably more so for the Bills because the Bills lost to them.
And the Jets.
Jacksonville and Tennessee. Tennessee, without its GM, is favored by 4 points at home. 41.5 is the over/under. Derrick Henry's been bad, Tim, like the last month.
Yeah, well, the last two games, really. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Titans, though, in this game. I got no faith in the Jaguars. I think Jaguars are, like, really bad. Like, really, really bad. People don't quite see it.
I'm going to agree with Tim. The Titans aren't going to lose this many in a row. They're just too well coached, and if they just do fundamental Titan ball, they'll be fine here.
I actually like Jacksonville to cover the 4 here. It just Tennessee. Well, this game is going to be within a score somehow at the end of the game. So give me the team getting 4 points here. They can lose by a field goal. That's fine for me. Just seems like the way that Tennessee wants to win at this point. And your boy Tim Traylon Burks probably not going to play.
That's unfortunate. That changed the whole tenor and complexion of that game. Burks went out. Burks is a very good player, and they were starting to get him clicking. That hurts.
I mean, he ended up at the touchdown and got his brain fried on getting sandwiched between those two guys. But I don't know if they were actually going to stop Philadelphia's offense at any point.
No, but they could have actually scored a few points, and I don't know. It just changes things in the game.
Let's try to see here with Derrick Henry's stats. Let's see. 30 yards rushing, 38 yards rushing, 87 yards rushing on 28 attempts. That's a 3.1 average. He's averaged his highest in his past 4 games, yards per attempt, is 3.1 yards per carry.
Yeah, fair enough.
It hasn't been good for him. I wonder if his foot is starting to bother him from last year.
It might. They don't. Once they win this game this week, I think they clinch and they can rest him for a while if they want.
Just shut him down. Get Dontrell Hilliard back in the mix.
Might as well. I think they do clinch if they win this week or something like that.
Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Lamar looking like he's out, which makes the Ravens a 2.5-point dog in Pittsburgh. 37 is the over/under in this spot. I think a lot of people are going to like Pittsburgh here, but you got Huntley, and is this version of Huntley, aka a guy who's healthy, better than whatever the hell Lamar was up to the last month, where he was clearly hurt? I'll throw it out to the group.
I mean, I like I would have liked the Steelers in this game until I thought more about it. I was like, the world is going to like Pittsburgh, and like this is such a Cam special, where he's going to love the backup, and he's really good on picking these games. So I don't know. This is completely against what I believe. I'm going to take Baltimore in a game that everything makes sense to take Pittsburgh in. Pittsburgh should win this game by a lot. The spread is too short. Like everything makes me think the way Baltimore's been playing recently, the way they struggled against the last 2 weeks against Carolina and against Denver, and yet, I'm going to take Baltimore, and I hate it.
It just comes down for me, Jeff. I'm going to take Baltimore as well. Huntley 1-3 as a starter last year, but I think he went 3-1 ATS, or maybe even 4-0. Played some good teams over that stretch. I think he's competent here. And if you're going to give me a game, which I think is probably it's a lot. This game reminds me so much of the Washington Giants game from last week, where I know it's probably going to be a field goal game. So give me the team getting the points.
Yeah, and Tim, you're kind of mixing up your backup quarterback narratives here between me and Cam. I am the one who loves the backup quarterback in their first game with a good team. So I am on Baltimore because I still at this point have to consider them a good team, despite there's a lot of, things eyeballs that could say maybe they're not. Cam is sort of the guy after they win that first game on the good team, he is still like propelling them up like 4 weeks later off of that one performance. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
After they win the one game, Cam is ready to call the backup better than the starter.
Yeah.
Well, Huntley played 3/4 of the game last week, so was that enough?
No, but it's so hard when you change on the fly in a game. We know how hard that is. Like, everything sort of changes with that. A full week of practice, preparation. This is the guy. This is the situation we're going to have. That is like where my mindset comes in. So no, the in-game switch doesn't count. I'm going to take Baltimore here because they're a good team and they've got their backup. And I don't say I love Pittsburgh, but they scared me last week and they hooked me those Omaha Steak points.
They did get you the Omaha premium pick of the week, the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Atlanta Falcons. Breaking news from Adam Schefter, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Jimmy G does not need foot surgery. So after Tim threw his unwavering support behind Dirty Purdy, now Jimmy G has a chance to return in the divisional round of the playoffs. So if they can get through round one, Jimmy
That's
G
not going to happen.
They're going to lose.
It's not going to happen. You know, if they win their first round game with Purdy, they're not going to go to Jimmy G cold in the second playoff game. So that's the same as him not playing.
I don't know.
It's not going to happen.
I think that they might. Now that you've said that they won't, they definitely will.
Seems quite unlikely. Let me put it that way. Perhaps I won't be so declarative. It seems quite unlikely.
Battle of Texas. Close one, by the way. Houston at Dallas. Dallas is favored by 17 points. 44.5 is the over-under. Jeff, if I just told you that we only got credit for the Cowboys' defensive points scored in this game, would you still take the minus 17?
I might. Yeah. This is gonna be a shit show. I'll lay the. I'm not betting this game. I don't touch these sorts of games, but for the purposes of this, I'm laying 17 points.
I actually really like Dallas to cover this minus set. After watching how Cleveland did it against Houston, like Houston is inept on offense. It was one thing earlier in the year, and I know that Dallas ended up putting the points to cover, I believe, against the Bears anyway, but you saw Justin Fields move the ball. He was able to score points. It was a large gap in terms of the score, but it was like 48-33 or something like that. Like Dallas is probably going to put up 30 in this game, be it from just running the ball down their throats or scoring on pick sixes. Can Houston put up 10, Tim?
Probably not. No, I shouldn't say that. They probably can. But this is the NFL. I won't lay 17 points in any circumstance, I don't think. So just that principle. I'll take the Texans. It's just too many points.
All right, well, you and the coin are both taking the Houston Texans, while Jeff and I are rolling out the Dallas Cowboys. Which brings us to the midway portion of the show, which means it's time for a mini version of Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
So I was going to use this corner to complain about some annoyances I've had with technology, but then it occurred to me people don't want to hear me whine.
No, we
constantly
want
about that. So I actually came up with an alternative game plan.
Well, maybe, but what's just very quick version of what's been bothering you with technology? Did you finally back up your phone?
No, ever since I updated my app, my phone, to the new iOS, the fitness app won't leave me alone. The rings keep telling me I need to close the rings in terms of like steps and calories and stuff. And like it gets pushier and pushier and pushier every day. And it's really driving me nuts. Yes, I know I could delete it or I could turn off the push notifications, but I shouldn't have to do that.
I updated mine. I got the rings on the go too, but I didn't opt into doing it. You had to opt in.
I didn't opt into any rings. It just did it.
So you clicked on the rings. So you're just randomly getting push notifications from this app you've never opened.
I have no idea.
Tim,
I never saw rings.
Tim.
I never saw rings before this.
Why don't you just go turn it off right now? It takes less than 5 seconds.
I don't want to.
Are you mad?
I don't want to.
Are you mad that your app is bullying you for sitting down too much?
Well, it also doesn't know if I'm walking or not because I don't carry my phone everywhere I go.
Yeah, you do.
It doesn't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you do.
And I don't know that my phone could figure out how many steps I was taking. I'm skeptical of the whole technology. I'm certainly skeptical of it need to tell me what to do. So that was what I was annoyed about. But what I actually have come up with is an old-fashioned list.
Oh, God. All right.
I've decided I'm going to rank for the people the best board games. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Number 1 is Battleship.
What age?
Battleship-
Whoa! What?
Battleship is the best board game out there.
What are you, 4
You
years
can make
old?
the noise. You can make the noises. You can be strategic. You get to have the tactile fun of putting in the white pegs and the red pegs in different spot. It's fun. It's wholesome. Battleship is the number 1 board game. Number 2 board game is Crib. I think Crib is absolutely a blast to play. It's it's a bit old timey, sure, but it's a lot of fun, and it teaches you how to count quickly and use some strategy. I think it's the second best board game.
Now, you have to remember that although cribbage is a widely circulated game, it is far more common where we live.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's not like a worldwide game?
It is a worldwide game, but it's not as prevalent in most other... I think it's the most popular where we live in the world.
I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, Jeff doesn't know what it is.
Really? It's the card game where you have the board and you move your pegs based on trying to make 15s?
Not a clue.
Okay. It's a great game. Number 3 is chess. That's the third best board game.
So you would rather play Battleship than chess?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Number 4 is Operation.
Operation.
I love Operation.
What
It's
a-
high stress. It's anxious. It's you have to be so precise to take out the funny bone and the water on the knee. It's fantastic. Then Risk.
when was the last time anyone over the age of 7 played Operation?
I don't know. Probably at those bougie board game cafes where all those hipsters are going to have their lattes with Irish whiskey in it. I'm sure they have the Operation there.
Not gonna lie to you,
But
based on the way that you dress and drink now, these sound like the perfect places for you, especially with your playing fucking Battleship. Who are you playing Battleship
Battleship's
with?
so much fun. It's so much fun.
I could see playing a
D17.
game. I mean, this is just like your affinity for bingo.
Bingo is so much
Hold
fun
on.
too.
What are the sound effects that what's the whole board? of
Oh, if you
sound
hit the
effects?
submarine, you go.
What's the soundboard? What?
What?
Like if it's a hit, like anytime I'm playing and someone says, if I say A4 and they go, that's a hit, I go. It's the same logic for why Sorry is next, because you can yick that sound in people's faces when you play Sorry.
What sound?
I mean, I'm still traumatized from being a kid. We played a lot of Sorry amongst my family, me being the youngest, and people did not want to take it easy on old Pat Mayo as like a 6-year-old. So my mom had this bell that every time there was a Sorry, people would just ring it in your face. It was not fun until you got to ring the bell. Then that was a lot of fun. But yeah, Sorry.
Yeah, Sorry. So Sorry after Risk is Sorry, and then there's a gap. Then there's Monopoly, which is below the gap because Monopoly McDonald's is more fun to play than the board game Monopoly.
That's
is
because
to
you
play.
never win at. I mean, what did we have it down as? That you won one Monopoly game for every 16 times we played, and there's only 3 of us.
Something
playing.
like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but whatever. So that's Monopoly. Then I have Trouble, which is another game that I absolutely love. Then I have the Game of Life, which I also think is a lot of fun. You drive around in those cars. You get to. Then I have Trivial Pursuit.
You love
that's far down the
Trivial
list.
Pursuit.
Because I dominate at it so much, it's kind of not fun anymore.
Oh, I see.
But and then the DFL is Clue. Clue is the worst board game. It was the worst board game movie because it had 6 different endings.
Whoa! Clue the movie is fucking amazing.
No,
What
any
is
movie
wrong
that has
with you?
multiple endings and you don't know what ending you're going to get when you go to the movie theater indicates it's a bad movie.
Oh my god, you're gonna get roasted for this one. They're remaking Clue the movie. It's so popular.
Hopefully they make a good version of it.
They're not gonna be able to make it better than the original version.
The original Clue movie is awful. Clue the game is awful. I've never ever once played Clue. It's that was a fun, evening around the table playing that. It's dumb. The whole conceit of it is dumb. I don't like it. It's a terrible board game. It should be banned.
Jeff, is this the worst Cuss Corner ever?
Yeah, it's pretty shit. And also, his games are children's games. Half those games, I'm, Trouble, Sorry. I think I'm gonna get she's into she's been talking about Operation, so I'll probably get that as small little Chachka holiday gift.
Operation's
as
a lot of
guy
fun.
I just have a question. your bougie hipster ways with your IPAs.
They're not bougie and
Shouldn't
hipster
you
if I
be
do.
playing like more sophisticated board games like this Settlers of Catan or some of these like really fancy nerd out games?
No, because I'm not a nerd or a hipster. I don't play those games or the Magic the Gathering. I don't do that stuff.
I mean, I would say that if you were ever to hold a gun, you would most definitely hold a gun like someone who plays Magic the Gathering. That would be a for sure lock of that would be the Omaha Steaks premium pick of the week. Additionally, nerd and hipster is probably like the two ways I would describe you to people.
No, I like to think of myself as like cool and sort of like hip. Like I'm sort of like I have sort of a swagger and sort of a coolness factor.
No, okay, listen, you do walk with the swagger. That's because your body gets so tight when you sit down, you limp everywhere when you stand up. We see it every Sunday.
That's not true. Not every Sunday.
It's every Sunday.
But no, I'm not a nerd. But like some of these games, like I guarantee you haven't played Battleship recently enough to appreciate how much fun that is.
Yeah, I played
you
it.
incorporate
It
the
was
sound
a
effects.
Happy Meal toy recently.
Yeah,
it was some.
We used to play it. My wife and I used to play it at the breakfast place that we used to go to, the place where we met, actually. So I probably played it more recently than you have.
There you go. And then here you are denigrating it.
It's the only game that they have there.
So, what are your thoughts on online board game versus people? Like
I hate it.
Digital.
I had that Monopoly handheld video game. I hated it.
Well, hold on, like
But
the
you don't
Monopoly
think you would
handheld
enjoy,
video
like,
game, like
virtual.
no, but like
you don't
20.
think you'd
No, hold
enjoy
on, oh,
virtual
Jeff,
Battleship?
hold on. Are you talking about the one from like 25 years ago?
Yes, with the buttons that were shaped like dice, and you rolled, and like the dice were always rigged against me, and I could never win.
I feel like if you downloaded like the app version of Monopoly, it's probably a better experience today than it was when it was like a knockoff Game Boy game.
No, I don't want to play those games. I want to play real board games. I'm not some hipster weirdo that needs to go on the internet to play a board game.
But
Who are you playing with?
Yeah, who are you playing with? You're not playing with anyone.
Well, sometimes we would play. We would get together and have a Risk night, or we would get together and have a Monopoly night or Trivia Pursuit
we
night.
We have not had one of those in over a decade.
It's been a while, but we used to do it.
Yeah, we
I don't
used
see
to.
what-
We
When you
used to
reference
do
some,
it.
like,
I could easily
Steelers
see it
Bills
happening
game
again. No, that's not true. Not that long ago. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, before you moved home, we did a Risk night.
All right, so before that, how long was it?
It probably another 3 or 4 years before that.
Battleship is such an elementary game. Like the digital online version, like handheld on your phone, playing against another human. Like, why is that bad?
Because
It's
it's
your
more
number one
no
ranked
the
game.
whole there's a whole tactile nature where you get to put the little red peg and the little white pegs in, and like you get to physically move around your boats to set up a perfect strategy. It's so much fun.
So, what is your optimal battleship strategy?
The 4 corners and the middle, but just slightly off the corner, and just slightly off the corner, and then in the dead center.
What's your best guessing?
people are-
What's your guessing strategy?
The best guessing strategy, in my opinion, is to work the middle. Because most people, like it's just default, will put something in the middle. And so
And why would your list not include Guess Who if you're getting royalties from?
I don't
it?
like Guess Who.
I'm sorry. We're not the ones with guess who face there, Franz.
First, I don't have Guess Who face at all. Secondly, Guess Who is a debatable board game. There's no real board
It has a
involved.
board. You have a
Guess
board in front of you. It has your face on it.
It doesn't have. It's not a board. It's a plastic container with flip-up faces.
You do
You know,
have.
when I was younger, I had NFL Monopoly, and the Chargers didn't even have their own square. They had to share one with Arizona. And it's probably some dirt rent property too.
Do those localized?
Mediterranean.
Do those localized Monopoly games like they must sell well if like every single city has their own version of Monopoly, right?
I bet you they sell well and they're never played.
Yeah, they're like a Christmas gift that never gets opened.
This is it. Like if I gave you local Monopoly for Christmas, you'd say, "Oh, thank you," and then in the closet it would go and it would never be touched.
I can see that.
That's why people would prefer a Subway gift card, Pat.
Well, I saw the commercial for it last night. The jingle for the Subway gift card. It's We're getting to that time of year, folks, where you're looking. This is a year where you're going to have a lot more people coming by the house to celebrate the holidays, and you never know who's going to, come calling. And it's always a good idea to have a reservoir of cards for people who show up to have a penchant for giving you gifts and you don't expect it. Have on hand a couple, 3, 4, 5 Subway gift cards to give them as a gift. That way you don't feel weird when they give you a gift. At worst case scenario, you don't get these. I do not look like Franz at all. I don't have red hair. My chin is not shaped like that. I don't have brown eyes. I don't have Lilliputian lips. I look nothing like that. That person has bushy eyebrows. Mine are blonde and fine. I don't look anything like. I couldn't look less like that.
You have fucking
That's
who. You have fucking guess who face, pal. Admit it.
I don't. I don't have guess who face. Who could look at that and say that?
Everyone? If you
Paul,
put it up again. Paul, put it up again.
No.
There
I
you
don't
go.
look anything like that.
I mean, that's pretty dead
about-
on. So what Tim is saying about Subway gift cards, I think what people need to actually do is, instead of being a loser and giving something to fucking Subway, which no one wants, just go on to omahasteaks.com and send out. You just send some steaks to yourself. You can give out some handsome steaks, and everything on the site right now is 50% off, Jeff. And if you use code Mayo, you get an extra $30 off. Imagine being the loser who gives out Subway gift cards because you want to get the free money from the Subway gift card. Please.
No, it's there as a treasure trove of card to give out when people come calling and you didn't expect them and they give you a gift.
Okay, I have to ask. I've never received anything from you. Who are you giving these to? Who's stopping by your house that you're giving the cards to?
I would not give you a Subway gift card because I know exactly what you would feel about it.
And he feels like you and Pat, like you would have a planned Christmas time, like situation where he would plan to get you a gift. He's talking about random on the fly drop-ins.
Exactly.
Who is dropping in at Tim's place?
I don't know.
Random people will drop by.
Will they?
Who are like friends that you haven't seen in forever,
gift?
or like distant relatives, and they show up with a card. They show up with a card in it with like some scratchers, and you're like, "Oh, I got to give them something." And well, again, nothing. Omaha Steaks is a gift that you give with thought and care.
Yeah, but you
The
can.
Subway
No,
gift card
it
is
doesn't.
there.
It doesn't need to be that way. Just order yourself the fucking steaks right now, and then it'll just have them at your house. Just hand them out to people.
Tim, imagine if someone showed up at your place, they gave you a card, and instead of giving them a Subway gift card, they left thinking Tim is such a POS, and then 5 days later, a box of Omaha Steak shows up, and it's from Tim. Hero. That's the sort of shit you can wear a medal around your neck for, buddy.
Yeah, but I also get a free 6-inch sub every time I
Who
spend $25 on
cares?
gift cards.
There's coupons on the Subway app for free 6-inchers all the time.
There's also right now this McDonald's promotion, a different deal every day in December.
Oh, so it's
They're
like
like an advent.
It's an
calendar
advent-
on the
Yeah.
app.
so. Do you?
It's a $5 meal today.
It is. You know what? That is great. That's
It's a good
essentially
deal.
50% off.
A Big Mac
combo.
meal
It's a
for
good
$5.
deal.
That's
That's
a
a good
really good deal.
See,
I looked at
that's
that
why
and I was
that's
like,
a deal. That's a deal worth them having my email address for.
yeah, I
can
kind of
cancel.
agree. I agree. I looked at that and I was like, man, that is like you can't afford
You
not
wanna-
to buy it.
Can I complain? And
Yeah.
I'll talk to Garion directly here.
That you hate Garion?
No, I'll talk to him directly. These Raptors don't hit 3-pointers anymore. You used to
What
get
does this
free
show
French
become?
fries every time they hit a left. There'd be free
Oh,
all the time. Where I live, you'd get free McDonald's French fries because the Raptors hit enough 3-pointers. They don't hit any. Never. Never.
Do they still have the pizza deal where if they get to 100 points, you get a free slice?
No, and that was the worst because they'd be at 99.
And we
the
chanted
crowd would be chanting,
pizza, pizza,
No, it'd
pizza.
be
It was
very
great.
more like instead of the defense chant, it'd be pizza, like a very corny, like pizza. It would bother me so much. Like you have to understand, the Raptors are new. People don't even understand the rules in Canada.
they're not new. They've been around for 25
No,
years.
but this was like an original promotion. And they'd
Oh,
be in
okay.
some tie game with 1 minute left, and the crowd is chanting pizza. Like, we've come a long way. We've come a long way as a I mean, I've played no role in it, but the city has come a long way.
Were they still
as
playing
a-
their games in the Sky Dome then?
Yeah. As
mean,
a season ticket holder. The first year.
Additionally, this was still going on while I lived in Toronto because I went to those games and chanted pizza.
Yeah, it took a long time.
I wanted some pizza.
Free shit will like almost trump anything. You see these people, they're in great seats and they're losing their minds for some free Gildan t-shirt. Like, chill out, man.
I like free stuff.
No, I'm saying people listen, I want free. I can afford free French fries. And you know what?
Oh, sorry,
I wouldn't even
Jeff,
go to
too
McDonald's.
rich.
But there's something about free that makes them taste better. And it's
Yes.
like, okay, fine. There's free medium fries on the Duke's app. Let's pull in there.
Like, come on. Like, how do you not go get that Big Mac meal today at $5? How do you pass?
Did you?
I'm not going today, but I did see it expire Sunday. So
In
I'll
4
hit it
days?
up.
Yeah, you have a couple of days. But like, how can you not? That's giving away food.
No,
for free.
that's a plus EV Coops.
It is.
So, Tim, how did you know about that? Were you just on the app, or was this one of the too many emails that you were getting?
Yes, okay, I forgot about this. Why is everyone sending me emails all of a sudden? Like, there used to be a time where I'd get 4 or 5 or 6 emails a day and I could easily dispatch them. My inbox is out of control. Right now, in my inbox, I'm going to tell you the exact number. I have 1,156 unread messages because I just can't get rid of them. They're coming in faster than I can dispatch them. I don't know what happened that, like, in the last 6 months to 8 months, I have been getting so many more emails than I can ever imagine. And people are like, I don't know why this is, where the explosion of these emails are coming from, but it's driving me nuts. Like, the number's growing and growing, and I just get anxious watching it grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And like, the task has now become too big that I can't really tackle it. I could spend 10 minutes on my phone deleting emails, and it doesn't take a bite out of it. And it like just causes great panic when I see it. Why is everyone always sending me emails? I don't need a million emails a day. Why is this happening?
Them. You used to say they were personal. They were
because there were 4 or 5 a day. Now I'm getting 24 a day, and it's just overwhelming.
Who are they from?
I don't know. Like, they're from different companies, different groups. Like, very few of them are like, so and so sat down to write me an email. There are a lot of them. Most of them are corporate emails, but like, it takes a lot of work to unsubscribe.
No,
to those emails.
it does not. You have two
Plus,
options.
I don't want to
You
get
have two.
phished. And what if it's a really sophisticated email that's phishing me? And if I click on the unsubscribe, it's actually phished my computer, and then I'm phished. I don't want that. So it's better for me not to even. It's safer for me to just delete the emails rather than go in there and get phished.
It's online Black Friday deals that you missed.
It's not just that. It's been going on for months. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about
Well,
it.
you have another option that you can do if you're too afraid to hit an unsubscribe button on an email, which is hilarious to begin with.
Because you can get phished. You told me this. That they're very sophisticated.
They're not super. It's like when you get the fake PayPal ones and everything's in Comic Sans font. Don't click on that.
Well, yeah,
that one's
that's
pretty
not
obvious.
sophisticated. That's obviously a fake one.
Then just do it from your phone and you'll be fine. The other way you can do it is
and
just...
they'll phish my phone, and then they'll jailbreak it, and God knows what'll happen to it.
You really are the mark, aren't you?
No, I don't want to be the mark.
Yeah, but
I don't want to be the person
you're
who
the
opens it
mark.
up on his phone and then gets phished.
You're the mark. I see how this works. Just click on the email, and when you're in the body of the email, just hit spam. And anyone from that address will just get sent to spam. And then it won't be in your inbox.
But I want those Burger King
Well, do
emails.
you want the fucking emails or don't you want the emails?
Well, I want a couple. I don't want one every day.
Well, too bad. You're getting one every day.
I don't know why you need the emails. If you feel like going to Burger King, just open the app and see what the deals are. You don't need an email about them.
Well, because I don't think to open the apps every day, Jeff.
That's why
Your emails
this
are
is
a
why
reminder.
this is why they need to send you a reminder email every day.
But no one goes out of their way to like go to Burger King. It's like a last ditch.
Oh no, they've putting some product out the last few months that has been like worth the price of admission. They're advertising this new zesty horseradish burger that looks so good.
Bro.
It was Paul that got me onto the Burger King elite level sandwiches. He was like recommending various like steakhouse ones and ones with like the crispy onions.
Yeah, but you never got the pretzel burger because you guys had a snowstorm
And pretzel buns are trash.
or a hurricane or something. I don't know.
Yeah, hurricane. But like, I wish there was a way that I could sign up for like one email a week from a company, not all kinds of emails. Because like I'm finding it overwhelming.
Quit being a fucking snowflake, pal.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a snowflake, but like I refuse to click on the links. I will not get fished. The safest way not to get fished is not to click on any links.
It's usually not the corporations fishing you.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm not a code cracker. I don't know how these things work.
You're not a code cracker?
No, I'm not. I don't know how these things work.
You're not the John
like
you're not the John Nash of our time?
No, so the safest thing to do is just to delete them, but then they keep coming.
Well, you're gonna miss saving $3, buddy.
Well, you laugh, but I like saving money. It makes me feel like a big man.
Yeah, I told you I like free French fries.
Who doesn't? Free stuff is the best.
Let's get to the last set of games. Oh my God, Kansas City's playing at Denver. Their favorite.
This was Sunday night that they bumped.
They're favored by 9. 43 is the
Game
total.
I was told that could never be flexed.
We never said it couldn't. If you go back and listen
Jeff
to what
did.
we, no, he
Jeff
didn't.
told me it could never be flexed.
No, he
It would
didn't.
Never take
That is
Mahomes
not
off prime time.
that is not what he said. By
Yes,
the way,
it was.
We both said it was very unlikely they would take Mahomes off of prime time, which I still agree with. It is hard to take Mahomes off prime time. We found the situation where you can get him off prime time. You have him against Mr. Unlimited, who apparently had a limited number of primetime spots this year. They couldn't have him in every single one. Either way, Jeff, can I take Denver here? Is that possible? Can their defense slow down Kansas City?
No, because they couldn't really slow down Carolina, and there was a quarterback injury early last week, so I'm not going to give them credit.
So you're taking KC?
Yeah, at any number. I don't care. They're so pathetic in Denver.
Yeah, I don't think I can pick Denver the rest of the season.
I feel like this is where we were at last week when we said the same thing against Baltimore, and then
It took an injury to Lamar for us to lose.
Well,
that.
it's not like Lamar was fucking lighting them up.
He needed one touchdown, and we'd have been fine.
I'm gonna take.
They can't get to 10.
I'm taking Denver. I'm taking Denver plus 9. Home dog.
Plus 9.
Home dog in division.
So how many points do you need from Denver for you to think you're getting this against Mahomes?
13.
Okay.
Maybe.
Their median feels like 10.
Yeah,
So you need
the median outcome is probably like 6.7 or something like that. But it's not like Kansas City's defense is lighting the world on fire over here. So yeah, that game's no fun.
Who does Kansas City? Sorry.
Who does they what?
Who do they play next week? Are they like on a Thursday? Are they playing like? They've played all the top teams, so probably not.
Yeah, they're at the Texans next week.
Oh.
What's that spread going to be? Bigger than the Dallas?
No.
Maybe not, because their defense isn't as good, and that's sort of...
KC has the
Yeah,
easiest.
Kansas City
schedule
goes
down the
Broncos,
stretch ever.
Texans, Seahawks, Broncos, Raiders to end the year.
Oh.
That's why losing to Cincy last week was huge because they probably won't win. They probably won't lose another game.
Seattle, maybe.
Maybe Seattle. Maybe the Raiders if it's
And maybe
week
the
18.
Raiders, if Raiders do have something to play for or something. If Raiders win all their games, and they're like 9-7 going into that game, maybe.
Tampa Bay at San
Raiders-
Francisco.
Sorry.
Raiders what?
They end with San Fran KC, so if they do get hot, they'll we'll see.
This is America's Game of the Week, I heard, coming up.
This is. They were promoting the hell out of America's Game of the Week, Tampa Bay at San Francisco. Brady does it again, Tim, after you threw dirt on his gravy, came back and won the game.
Yeah, I was wrong. And all those people who criticized all those punts from Bowles was wrong. Because everything worked out perfectly. It took Taysom Hill dropping that pass. It took penalty being taken in the end towards the end zone on Evans. It took a lot of things, but the reason it goes back to, I think, buttressing my point that I made on this show 3 weeks ago is that if I had anybody in the world to lead a comeback, it would be Tom Brady, and I don't think it's all that close. He did it again. Like, he keeps doing it.
Hold on. Your pick for the best guy to have a comeback is the guy who's had the most ever comebacks
Yeah,
ever.
well, I was laughed at.
And
You
want
guys all
credit?
took Allen.
You want credit?
You took Allen.
I
you took
would
Mahomes,
still
you all
take.
thought it was
I
risible.
would still take Allen and Mahomes. Allen did this like 2 times in the past 3 games.
Yeah, Brady's still better at it. Always has been, and probably always will be. I've been on the back end of many of those. All right, this stupid game. I don't know how you even cap this game. Because Tampa is horrific, and San Francisco's quarterback is the third stringer.
But he's better than Tua, so Tua should be a fourth. He should be Strevler.
Setting a low bar.
I like San Francisco a lot here.
I'm having trouble. I think I'm going to come to your side of things only because I think Tampa is so bad. Tampa doesn't have much talent on their team. That's the problem with Tampa, is they're just not a skilled team. The people expect them to like wake up and burst and play great, but like they're just not talented at almost any position, or very few anyway. Yeah, okay. Let's go with San Francisco. I think it's dangerous to be laying points like this early with the quarterback we still don't know a whole lot about, but okay. Trepidatiously. I think it's hard to be enthusiastic with San Francisco, but I take San Francisco here.
When was the last time Tampa Bay scored over 20 points?
They scored probably over 20 in Munich.
Oh, yeah, that's
true.
They won. They scored, let's see here. Yeah, they scored 21. They scored 21 against the Seahawks. And the Seahawks have, as we've seen, a very bad defense. 16 against the Rams, 22 against the Ravens in a loss, 3 to the Panthers, 18 against the Steelers, 17 against the Browns' terrible defense. Like, what the fuck are they going to do against this defense? They're going to score 3 points.
Not a whole lot, but their defenses, I guess, has played decently as well. I don't know.
It really it's played okay. It should be a lot better, but they're so banged up and they have no pass rush at the moment. So, like, they're missing a
low-scoring game.
I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring game because I think that San Francisco has the right type of playmakers to give Tampa Bay fits. Like, what are they going to do against Debo when they have to account for McCaffrey? And then you're just running streaking George Kittle up the middle. Like, I don't think that the Brock Dirty Purdy game plan really needs to be too complicated here. I think you can just out-scheme them to death. This might be my Omaha Steaks premium pick of the week, which means now Tampa Bay will win, but with the way that it's been going. But I really like San Francisco.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, Pat. I was about to give my Omaha plug here. Not fully decided yet. I almost see the injury as a reprieve in point spread. Again, yes, they won the game with Purdy last week, who came in, but this in some ways also falls into the good team first official start with the backup. Like, check. Not just a good team, a great team. Tampa Bay, unless it's 3rd and like 4, they don't have a play. And I'm still so mad that they got that win last night. But San Fran's gonna annihilate them. They're gonna annihilate them. Brock Purdy, it doesn't matter. They'd win with Zach Wilson by this number on Sunday. Well, no, he actually cannot throw a screen pass. We've seen that.
2-0.
7 feet over a guy's head.
They are 2-0 against the NFC West so far this season. So maybe it follows the Vikings trend where they went now 4-0 against the AFC East. Maybe just some teams have certain other divisions number and it comes down to it. I don't see that happening here. Like, what would this line be if Jimmy G was playing? 4?
Touchdown?
I was going to say 4, 3.5. Like, I don't feel
like
that's
what it was against the Dolphins. That's what it was against the Dolphins last week with Jimmy G.
Yeah.
It would be more than that, I think.
But
if we think that the Dolphins are better than Tampa, and I think the books think that the Dolphins are better than Tampa.
Exactly.
I think it probably would be 5, I think, with Jimmy G.
I feel like we're getting a bit of a discount here. I feel like it should be like 5.5 or 6 anyway, just based on the strength of the San Fran defense. It is, but we're getting a discount because they're playing a quarterback that literally, other than Ben Raza, no one knows about. I suppose that's true. Carolina and Seattle. Seattle's favored by 4.5 at home. The Darnold is playing quarterback. I'm taking Carolina. Plus 4.5. This falls in the Feinberg zone for me. Panthers to cover, Seattle to win. Just Seattle's defense is so bad. And like it got all right for a portion of the season for like 5 weeks, and now it's back to being terrible again. I just
know what the elixir to that is?
Playing Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold on the road in a late game. This is close to my Omaha Super Lock too. I really think Seattle is a side here. They're on the money line parlay. Yeah, I mean, I'll get the Reddit page mad at me, but I just think this line is way too short. This is a very tough spot for a very talent poor Carolina team starting a quarterback who loves to turn the ball over. I think you have all your work cut out for you to make a case for for the Carolina Panthers in this game. I think it's Seattle. It should be Seattle by 6. I'm getting value here. I love Seattle here.
You may be right with that, but I look at the 4.5, Jeff, and I think, what does Seattle do really well? It's Geno. It's Geno, Lockett, and Metcalf. You could say Ken Walker, but he's probably not going to be playing. They just had to sign Wayne Gallman up to the main team because they have no running backs left. The defense is putrid, and what I've seen from Carolina, at least over like the last month or so, and even when Sam Darnold came into the game, like Sam Darnold gives them a much better chance to win than Baker Mayfield did. He really does. At least he'll throw the ball more than 3 yards down the field. They can still get a bit of a pass rush, and their pass defense isn't so bad. So they can try to limit what Geno and the offense are up to. And I've been thoroughly impressed with Donta Foreman. He runs hard. He is difficult to tackle. And I think that Carolina is going to be able to control the ball on the ground against him and try to win the possession here and just limit the amount of possessions in the game. I don't think that they're going to win outright. I think it's in the cards, most definitely. I think Seattle will eventually get it done, but I think this is going to look an awful lot like that Rams game last week.
Yeah, so this could be an Omaha Steaks pick for me. But do I want to go against Tim Anderson and his 10-3 record?
That's how you get your game back.
Yeah, but I think I could just do it my own way. This was a game. I know, people say don't read too much into early lines, but I get you can't bet a lot on early lines, and I have so many questions about the life of a professional. But and some of them are just the worst. But I really like Carolina here. I really like Carolina. Tim says he can't find a way. It's hard-pressed to look to find any reason to like Carolina. All I got to do is open up the schedule and see Seattle play San Francisco in 4 days on a Thursday. Off a last-second win. Carolina off a bye. They've got a Thursday nighter. I don't have that great number like it seems like the pros got out of the gate at 5.5. But I'll take Carolina with where this game currently stands.
I like Seattle against the Niners at home on Thursday night, by the way. I don't know what the spread is, but don't tell me.
Honestly, it'll depend on what I see.
After they beat the shit out of Tom Brady, could be a great buyback spot on Seattle, especially if
Purdy plays poorly. There might not be any way to play San Francisco in that game if Purdy plays poorly.
No, but if the week plays out as Pat and I have tailed Pat, or we agree, project this week, it actually could set up to a great betting spot for Seattle next week.
And I think that Geno is a nice elixir to the San Francisco defense. They're going to get their pressure. They're going to get to him, but his accuracy and just not turning the ball over. No more Geno picks. He's Mr. Accuracy at this point. He's Drew Brees. That ball out quickly, short passes on the money. Basically everything that Tua couldn't do against them, I think Geno will be able to do, weirdly enough. But that's for next week. We have a Monday night game to talk about. It is New England at Arizona. The Cards are a 1.5 dog at home against Mac Jones. I kind of said it on the Sunday show, Jeff, when I was talking to Tim, is just running quarterbacks give the Patriots absolute fits. I like Carolina plus 1.5, or Arizona plus 1.5, sorry.
Yeah, I want to agree with you.
Then do it.
I like Arizona off the bye. I'm tempted to agree with you. My only bite back is, and I don't like this Peter versus Paul, and then they play someone else, but I felt like that loss versus the Chargers taught us a lot about Arizona. But to your ultimate point is if Arizona is smart enough, or if Kyler Murray can just be selfish enough to just like run the shit out of the game, it'll look just like that Fields Monday nighter, and it is the one boogaboo for the Patriots. So I will so hesitantly side with Arizona in a game I have no true opinion about. It's Monday Night Football. I'm certainly going to bet it. Hope I have a good week.
Patriots, big time. Kyler Murray up against Belichick having this time to prepare for him. I have not forgotten that Chargers-Cardinals game. I have learned the lessons well, that the Cardinals are really, really bad. And this is like the Patriots' season on the line. They can't afford to lose this game. This game they really should win. If they're going to make the playoffs or have a chance at it, you don't give up this game against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, who are just a dead team walking. I like Arizona, I like New England a lot. They're on the money line parlay to round it out.
Oh, a Monday night hammer. So we all know to bet Cardinals money line should Tim's parlay persist into Monday. Although your money line parlays are like 2-2 this year,
Yeah, the only teaser I think they hit was the Pilgrim parlay.
which couldn't lose.
Well, whatever, it still won. And like
No,
people are like, you never pick any winners.
I get
like the Pilgrim parlay
I get-
comes in a lot more often than other ones.
Well, it's come in twice in 6 years. And
People
bo-
love
and-
that parlay.
And both times it couldn't lose. Jeff did the 6-way version of it, and he won.
Whatever, I'm still taking credit for it.
You get credit for it, but I'm saying that you've been more I'm trying to give you credit for having decent money line parlays so far this season.
Well, this is a really good one. This is a plus 800. If I win this, no matter what happens the rest of the year, I'm up money.
There you go. Let's see here. Let me add the teams. Patriots in Seattle was the other one.
Patriots, Seattle,
Miami.
Dolphins, Vikings.
Plus 812. There you go. Let's get to the Omaha.
Jeff hates almost all the opposite sides of these games. Jeff hates all these games.
Why?
You love the Lions. You love the Cardinal or the Patriots. Sorry, you like the Cardinals. You like the Panthers. You don't like these teams.
Can I give you breaking news?
Sure.
I don't know if it's appropriate here, but Aaron Judge to the San Francisco Giants.
Really, that's official.
John Heyman is pretty official. Yeah.
I think the Giants could very well win the World Series next year.
The Giants could. People in the Bay
Yeah.
Area must fucking hate you.
You just cursed. They just signed Aaron Judge,
I think they've got a real chance to. I mean, that team won 100 games 2 seasons ago.
and now they got Aaron Judge.
Yeah, they could win the World Series. I'm going to back them.
I can't.
So you're getting off the Mets. So by the time we get to spring training, it's not going to be like, oh, the Mets can't lose.
Well, the Mets could lose to them in the division in the NLCS, but I'm for the Giants this season in the National League.
So you're off the Mets now.
Yes, I am.
You don't like that the Mets have kind of become the Yankees. Just seems
I don't like that they signed a 500-year-old pitcher to replace the guy who won the Cy Young.
who never pitches.
Still won the Cy Young. I mean,
Hold on, but Verlander won the Cy Young last year and a World Series and
He
pitched
didn't just-
170 innings.
yeah, that's 170 innings. That's like what a reliever used to pitch.
Well, DeGrom pitches like 12 innings.
Okay, we still a better pitcher. Like, good
No,
luck to you.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I get it. Giants are going to be very special this year. Very, very special. Like, they have a better chance of winning 100 games than they do of not
Is
making
this
the playoffs.
just because they signed Aaron Judge?
That's a huge part of it. That having that bat in that lineup is a huge factor of it.
Can you
even
tell?
name?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
four
can you tell
players
us
in
the?
that
Can you
lineup?
tell us the rest of San Francisco's batting order?
I'm pretty sure Buster Posey retired, did he not?
I don't
Like
know.
this year.
Okay, so go through the diamond then. Tell me who plays their positions.
I'm trying to think now of the various
They
few
have
players.
such a good lineup
No, they do have a good lineup, but like, can
Ew.
you give me 3 seconds to think about it?
to load it up.
Yeah, to pull it
No.
up on your screen.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Like who hits in front of him? Who hits behind him? I'm not pretending to know.
I don't even.
You just picked them to be really good. I assume you know one player other than the guy they probably just gave $350 million to.
I mean, they have. I know about their pitching staff.
You've
I mean,
already Googled it.
no.
So
They
you
have,
don't know anything.
No. They have Crawford,
They have
I know
Brandon
that-
Crawford. That is
shortstop.
true.
the shortstop, and the pitcher Cobb. They've got him. I like him.
You don't know anything.
They have Flores, and now they have Judge. Okay, that's 4. That's all I can name.
I don't even believe you.
Are you
I
big?
can't think of any more.
Are you big on Lamont Wade Jr.? Because he might get thrown to the bench for Judge here.
I don't know who that is.
David VR.
Oh, David Villar? Okay, well, I know that name.
Well, it looks like David VR. Like he's playing with a VR headset.
So I know some of the people on this. Anyway.
No, you know no.
You know
to
nobody
say a
on this
team
team.
is really good. You literally knew nothing about them.
I've laid my hands upon them and blessed them for this coming year.
I could only give Giants fans hope in saying he made that claim. Like he just proved he knows nothing about your team.
Yeah, but the curse doesn't matter. It's not going to discriminate. Anyway, let's get to the Omaha Steaks premium pick of the week. Go to omahasteaks.com right now. Get 50% off everything site-wide. Then use promo code MAYO at checkout for an additional $30 off. Minimum spend required. But hey, you're going to spend when you're on Omaha Steaks. Too delicious not to spend, what I hear. San Francisco, minus 3.5 against Ancient Brady. The best comebackman of all time is where I'm going to get back to 500 with my premium picks. Jeff?
Did not work out for us a couple weeks ago, but me and you are going to go on the same side here, San Francisco.
Oh, good. Now I feel safe to go ahead and step up to the tee with my 2-wood and knock it right down the middle by taking the Seattle Seahawks.
Minus
Did you
4.5.
say your-
You know when you hit your 2-wood, you shank it into the woods every time, right? You're better.
That used to happen.
You're better off just hitting your driver for you.
Yeah, but the purpose of that club is so that I can sort of move it a little bit left to right or right to left.
But you can't
keep
do
it in
that.
play.
You can move it left to right like a hook into the woods.
Yeah, but the purpose of that club is so that I can hit it with a little bit of movement and get it in the right spots.
Oh.
And it'd be a little more forgiving.
Giants say they have not heard from Aaron Judge. My apologies for jumping the gun. John Heyman.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's an insta-curse.
That's a crazy. That's a big report to retract.
If he doesn't go to the Giants, I'll pick the Mets to win the pennant.
Oh, Mets fans waiting on bated breath.
I really like the Blue Jays this year, too.
Oh, poor Garriott. Poor Jeff.
What are we doing Sunday night?
Do you want to? I was just because Meanie's going to be in studio on Sunday night. I was thinking maybe we get you and Gary in for like the final 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, listen. I mean, it is the biggest event ever, or it's just week 14 Chargers Dolphins. A couple loser franchises.
Acho Bowl.
He's got drafted tweets. I do not have drafted tweets. Well, I have drafted tweets, but they're just bad tweets that never got sent. Not like things that I'm preparing for the future.
We had such a great meme for that Vikings game if we had won. Oh, we had such a good meme. It's such a shame that it had to stay.
What did you have?
We had a really nice photo of my head superimposed on Kirk Cousins in the plane. Those chains around his neck. Oh, it was such a great one. It's a shame that it can never see the light of day.
Well, listen, creative always has to be proactive.
Yeah, it does. And so we always have something set up. But, like, there are so many Buffalo Bills 1992 Super Bowl T-shirts style of memes.
Creative is proactive. Listen, creative has already made, like, a Elton John is dead banner. Like, they're just have to be ready, right? Like
we are working on a good one for Buffalo. Actually, we have a very good one in the works for Buffalo this week. I don't think.
Or
we
I
have
should say, like, you've already retracted that you aren't responsible for killing Pele draft, right? It's in your tweets.
Many are saying that you're responsible after picking Brazil.
I stand by Brazil. They look like the best team in the tournament.
Just
and when
like
they win, I'm going to be coming around collecting credit from people.
Collecting credit.
And I'll get it, too.
He took the Harlem Globetrotters over the Washington Generals. Demands credit. Also, we found out, Jeff, did you know that Tim had just started rewatching Cheers?
They've been showing it on CMT after Frasier.
I'm a big Christy Alley fan, and I thought the media, like, she was bullied before it was not cool for mainstream media to just bully people.
You're correct. She's funnier than Shelley Long was on that show.
I'm a big Christy Alley fan. Well,
the second half of the life of Cheers is funnier than the first half of Cheers.
I feel like that's a pretty controversial take, sir.
It is a controversial take, but Kelsey Grammer and Kirstie Alley are funnier than Shelley Long and that crew. Sorry, that's just what I believe.
Hold on. Did Tim curse the Aaron Judge signing?
I think he did. In real time. But it gets him off of San Francisco. So that's probably good for Giants fans, right?
Yeah, if they don't sign him, I will be picking the Mets to win the National League.
You just railroad.
But now that you know all of the 4 players on the team, you're good to go.
I stand by what I'm saying. Look, I don't play fantasy baseball anymore. There was a time not long ago I knew every player on every team because I played fantasy baseball. I don't do that anymore.
No, I agree. Fantasy baseball like kept you so plugged in, but it was so hard. It was like a job. It really
It was hard, but like I used to know who the backup catcher was in Oakland, and now I don't know who the starting catcher is in Oakland. It's like it was unthinkable, but that's where we are.
Okay, can I give other breaking news?
Sure. Is it real or fake news?
No, it is real. And as everyone knows, Tim despises the Chargers royal blue unis.
No.
Hold on. They are on the uniform schedule. They're supposed to be wearing them this week, but it is now breaking news. The Chargers will wear powder blue uniforms on Sunday instead of royal.
Thank goodness.
Oh,
thank goodness. Those royal ones are humiliating.
That means we get the Dolphins white jerseys, or do we get those teal jerseys?
No, they'll wear their white normal road jerseys probably.
I like their white jerseys.
Yeah, they probably only pack their white road jerseys.
Do you think they would want to wear white in Miami?
They usually do.
So
they usually do, unless it's like a primetime game.
So
no, in September they wear white, like because that whole thing where it's really hot, they wear white. They make you wear your darks. That's like a real thing.
There we go. And they put your bench on the side of the field that has no shade.
Yeah, that
seems unfair.
Listen, that seems really like people comparing it to like weather. Like
it's no different than where the benches are in Wrigley because they always play day games and you always wanted the sun setting in a particular spot, like into the visitors' bench.
They like intentionally have their visiting sideline being roasted. I don't know. That seems like competitive disadvantage that goes beyond the perils of home field, but I don't know. Miami hasn't even had a good home field ever, so who cares?
You're going to love the thumbnail for today's show, Jeff. It features you. You are prominently featured.
Whatever. Listen, I don't know. This game seems like
there are people saying that the thumbnails and memes should be their own category on the
thumbnails
on
are
the votes.
great. I'll take it as like a compliment to sort of get that feature. There are people building this game into like way more than it is.
Flexed into prime time.
Ocho Bowl 2022.
I hope Ocho is there on the sideline.
I hope he's the play-by-play guy. Maybe he's the special. Wow, what if Ocho is the special guest referee, Jeff?
Listen, there's a scenario that's still highly likely that even if the Chargers miss the playoffs, they still finish second in their division, and it would guarantee we get Ocho Bowl again next year. Assuming the Dolphins finish second, which would be ahead of the Jets.
What if they fire Staley and hire Ocho as the coach? Could it
Maybe
be worse?
His brother.
Could it be worse?
There's a more intelligent Ocho. I think he's a good guy. I mean, we may as well. I'd rather them make Skip Bayless the head coach.
All right. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. I want to thank Jeff, Paul, the Coin, and of course, me for being here. And really, my stomach kind of hurts, have a bit of a headache. Jeff, have you been sick for a month? Because it's like 5 weeks for me now.
I was
kids.
sick for a long time. I was kind of like embarrassed, thinking, I swear I started the show last week saying I'm sick, and I'm finally like maybe not like feeling fine, sleeping through the night. Yeah, no, I'm good, but I'll get sick again soon in no time for sure.
Yeah, it's just something new every single week. It's a head cold, and then you're really stuffed up, and I have some sort of fucking stomach bug. My kids, they throw up. They're fine in a day. I don't throw up. I just have it for like a week, and it just doesn't get out of my system. It's horrible. Also want to thank Tim Cust.
Tim and Cust.
Not my name.
For being here today. I want to thank all of you fine people, very great people. Many people are saying I only have the best viewers. That's you out there. Smash the like, sub to the channel. If you want to get in on that Tambo giveaway, tune in Friday. Also, leave a rating and review, just saying, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to get in. Newsletter link, DraftKings Listeners League, and Omaha Steaks Dirt Kerm. Promo code Mayo for all of that fun stuff. I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!